Hello vinyl freaks, it's the Danish record hunter here, and in this video I will tell you about a very interesting record released in 1978, and it's called Dansk Guitar Union, translated Danish Guitar Union. So this record gathered a bunch of very good guitarists from the Danish scene to perform a song each. Some of them performed two, and you know, that's pretty much what you will get. Mostly instrumental music. It has a kind of a fusion feel to it, some of the tracks here. And also on the B side it goes more acoustic with some of the guitar players that appears on here. But yeah, let's get to the record and who appears on it, because I'm gonna talk about all the songs and you will listen to some samples from each of them. And maybe you can decide for yourself which one of the tracks you like the most. So let's start off with Electric Seal by Niels Henriksen. So Niels Henriksen, if there's a guitarist in Danish rock music from the 70s who really oozes of the guitar hero kind of charisma, then I think Niels Henriksen is the one. What a great guitar player. He played first off in Culpeper's Orchard. If you like Captain Beyond and stuff like that, then I think you will like this record. And also, later on, he performed in Moirana. That's also kind of like a heavy album, kind of, you know, a band that was formed by members of Dea Phoenix and Culpeper's Orchard. This record is a bit more cheap to find. Culpeper's Orchard here, that's the first press, very expensive. Yeah, so he appears on this record with the song Electric Seal, and also on drums. That's the interesting thing. It's actually a Swedish guy. I think his name is Åke Eriksson, and he was a member of this Swedish jazz fusion band turned heavy rock, new wave kind of thing, called Vasa Express. And what a drummer, man. You know, to have him on there, that's so cool. And I think the connection with this drummer comes from this album, Lone Kellermann's first solo album. And they appear, I think, together on a song. You know, the Swedish drummer Niels Henriksen and the other guys, they appear on here with a track. So I think the connection from that album from 1977 also came to kind of fruition on this song here in 1978. So let's have a listen to Electric Seal. So the next track is called Nothing to Write Home About by Thomas Fuggaard Müller. And this track slows down the pace a little bit. It's more melodic, it's heartfelt, it's just beautiful. First off, he was in Delta Blues Band. They released an album in 1969, a very good record. And then he joined another band called Pain. They released an album in 1970, very sensational listen, especially lyrically. And then later on, he appeared in Culpeper's Orchard, but he appears on the album where they shortened their name to just Culpeper. So yeah, that's the highlights from his career, if you ask me. But let's have a listen to Nothing to Write Home About. Then we have the song called Funny Feeling by Kim Sale. Kim Sale I talked about recently in Buki-Yamaz. I don't know if you can see the record right here, but it's the second album by Buki-Yamaz. This Latin, fusion, jazz, funk band. And this track, Funny Feeling, is also very funky and the guitar work is just smoking. So after like the previous track slowed down the pace a little bit, Kim Sale, he brings like the rocking force back again with some, smoking guitar work. And the people that he had helping him on this track, they all came like from Buki-Yamaz, or they were former members like Kasper Winding on drums. So yeah, very cool track. Let's have a listen. And then we've come to a highlight for me on this record, because I'm not big into like country rock music, but as I've told you before, I started opening my mind to it, and especially because of a guitarist called Niels Tuxen. So this track, when I listen to it, it's just like, it's pure like country rock in the beginning, but then this track kind of, goes in all kinds of directions. So it's like 3, maybe 4 songs like put together as one, and it has some surprises. It goes from country to like kind of jazz, and then like some kind of hard fusion. I don't know how to describe it better, but this guy in this Tucson, he was a member of the Savage Rose. He played with Kashmir, the old Kashmir with Jan Thompson, and also the jazz fusion band Iron Office. So let's have a listen to Axis. And then we have another funky track with Got No Cow by Michael Brun. And like Michael Brun, he, also had an interesting career, starting out with this progressive band Thor's Hammer. They released one album, and then they turned into Anaconda. They released a single, and then they turned into Tyggegummi-banden, which became more like this kind of funky, quirky pop music. And also he played in Heavy Joker, which is like jazz fusion. So what you will hear on this track is just like kind of swagger-induced funk rock. Also, Michael Brun, he was a member of Sensory System, but not on the heavy first album, but on the second one where they softened up a bit, which I like. It's not as bad as its reputation, if you ask me. But let's have a listen to it. Got No Cow. And then let's switch to the B-side with a track called Yashmak by Mikkel Nordsø, who was also a member of Buki-Yamaz. So this track, it's pretty much like Latin fusion. It's kind of, laid back and dreamy, and it works as the silence before the storm. But let's listen to it. So when I mentioned the silence, it was the last track. Now this next track here, 10 Miles Away, that's the storm. And damn, Mikkel Nordsø, he goes apeshit on this song with his crazy guitar work. So let's listen to it. And now the album slows down its pace again with Green Tomatoes, and it's by Christian Siebert. So Christian Siebert, he played mostly like acoustic Latin fusion, and he released a couple albums, one solo album in the 70s, and also another album later in the 70s where he collaborated with the Finnish guitarist Jukka Tulonen, I think his name is. This song, it's also like very laid back and dreamy, and on here he had help from a Brazilian drummer, and so this is like just it sounds like very authentic, like a Latin, and yeah, let's have a listen to it. And then we have a song called Fantasia, Faruka, I think maybe it's called, by Mehmet Ozan. So Mehmet Ozan, he was a Turkish guitarist who mostly played like Anatolian fusion. And on this track actually, it sounds way more like Spanish influenced, like flamenco of some sort. It's very beautiful, and it's actually the only track on here on the record where he doesn't have any backing band supporting him. It's just his guitar, and it sounds very beautiful. So let's have a listen to it. And so, the album's last track, it's Love Lady by Kim Sale, the second track by Sale. And of course, he was a member of Buki-Yamaz at this time when he recorded the song for Dansk Guitar Union. But what a way to end the album. Let's have a listen to it. So I hope that you enjoyed what you heard, and you know, if you want to know more about what the members they all appeared in, then I have a full album vinyl rip coming your way soon. And on there I actually wrote down all the information about who appears on each track, and also all the gear and guitars, you know, that all the members they performed. And you can see here Niels Tuxen, he has a shitload of stuff, of guitars and amplifiers and all kinds of pedals that he played. And you know, it's just. And let me mention one more thing about Niels Tuxen. He was known for being kind of a virtuoso in like using the pedal steel guitar, and that's also what you are gonna hear on this track called Axis. I didn't get to mention that. So he was like this big country rock guitarist in Danish rock, but he could also do some other stuff. He could really play heavy, and you can hear all of that stuff in that one track, Axis, which is just like a highlight for me because of all the direction it goes in. But I will write down all the stuff in that video, and also I have done some selective discographies. They will also be shown in that vinyl rip video of the whole album, so please check that out. It's gonna come in a couple of days. So what I'm gonna have to say to you now is just peace out and see you next time.